You wrote an article for Dogs by Nature. What's best for the Browns for the rest of the season? So, first and foremost, you have Jameis Winston continues to play at a high level. Also, second on that list, DTR gets an opportunity and flashes talent. Third, Jack Conklin finishes the year strong and healthy. Those are three kind of on the offensive side of the ball. Let's kind of digest those. I know a lot of people want to see what you got in DTR. I don't know that we need to see that. He was drafted as a developmental guy. I don't think. I'll just say it. I don't see a starting NFL quarterback there. I see a guy that can be a competent backup, who I think can play, but I don't see a starting quarterback there in what I've seen. And I know he's flashed in preseason, but as soon as things get where they're disguising coverages and things are happening quick, he is slow to read and his accuracy isn't there. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people that like DTR just hating on me for that, but that's what I've seen from DTR.
No, that's okay, Dave. That's a pretty fair assessment from what we've actually seen in regular season play for sure. My only thing with Dorian, I'm not saying that he should come in and play right away. I think, Winston definitely deserves to get a couple more games and just to kind of see how it goes. And maybe we never see DTR at all this year. But I do think there might be a point where if, we lose a couple more games, Winston continues to have turnover troubles, at that point it would be advantageous to turn to DTR for, 2 to 3 game stretch and see what he can do. I think the one thing that I will say in defense of Dorian is that he's never really had an opportunity to prepare, for a couple game stretch as a starter. The first game he ever played, he found out the day of the game that he was going to start, and that turned out to be a disaster. He did look better in that Pittsburgh game last year, so he has flashed. I would like to see an opportunity to get a little bit of an evaluation on him, and it's probably true that he is maybe just a backup for the long term or the immediate future. But knowing if he were to flash something, that they could maybe turn to him over the next couple years while they try to find a new quarterback and he is on a rookie contract.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The other thing, Conklin has looked like Jack Conklin. He looks healthy, and that solves a problem. Now you might need a tackle if DeJuan Jones can play left tackle. You're looking for a swing tackle potentially. Jack Conklin has looked good. We haven't said anything about him, and that means the tackle is playing well.
Yeah, it sure does. And, he's exceeded my expectations, especially here over the last several weeks. I think it did take him a couple weeks to, get back into game shape and get some strength back all the way in that knee and stuff. But he has looked really good. And he's really solidified the entire offensive line just by handling his job and his spot out there. And I would argue that, I know there's been a lot of talk about his contract, and maybe he's too expensive and they need to get younger and just move on. I would wholeheartedly disagree at this point and just say that, he absolutely needs to come back. And maybe they work out a situation where they restructure his contract a little bit to lessen that cap number for next year. But to me, he's critical to come back. And, DeJuan Jones, we can certainly pencil him in at left tackle. And I think we do just need to continue to build through the draft and find somebody that, we can put on the bench next year to develop a year, and see where things go with Jack Conklin from there.
All right, the last 2 points in the article that you wrote about what's best for the Browns. JOK returns to play this season, and I don't think anybody would argue that. And the Browns lose enough to earn the number 1 overall pick in the draft. JOK, yeah, I'm concerned. I'm not going to lie. We haven't heard an update on him, and that's concerning without question. First pick in the draft, I'd rather have it when there's a can't miss quarterback like Joe Burrow than the mess that there is this year at the quarterback position, but number one overall pick is the number one overall pick.
Yeah, it would bring some excitement. We haven't had a first round pick in 3 years after the Deshaun Watson trade. So, that's kind of why I threw that in there. I agree there. I don't think that there's a worthy quarterback to take overall, number one overall. And there's probably only one or two that are going to go in the top 10, period. So, we'll see. But the JOK thing to me is really, really concerning. I don't know. None of us know what his exact diagnosis is for the future. And there's been some things that were said that were a little concerning. So we shall see. But if he were to be able to get back on the field, at least okay, his career isn't in jeopardy. And if he doesn't get back this year, that might be a talking point all off season. And I don't want to be talking about whether or not JOK is going to get back to football.